Welcome back everyone, Jose21 Crisis here, and today we're going to be playing some more Grand Prix World 2001. I'm here looking at our expenses through the year. This 27%, nearly 6 million for Ferrari engines is disgusting. It is our biggest expense. The next biggest is this for constructing cars, which we could get away with not doing, but it will be more terrible. And of course, paying General AC. But this number has to go down, and all the numbers here ideally go up. This one will go up eventually because we're gonna be able to sign a fan club. This one I think will go down, but where is it? This one will go up, and this one will go up. So I hope we'll be having more cash and that this graph doesn't trend downwards next year. But we have stuff to take care about. This is the German Grand Prix weekend. One of two big time weekends we have to do well at. The reason for that, actually I will explain when we get into it. First of all, I left this stuff for I didn't do it the previous episode because I have to do it on this one because I have to explain the things that I'm going to do. First of all, I will take away some points from setup and research, like so. I'm going to do 140 miles. That's gonna cost a ton of cash, but it must be done. 60-40. I know the guys will complain a ton, but this has to be done. And before hitting perform testing, we're gonna go here. I'm gonna put all of the tarmac points on the lazy as well as 1 point in dust. And then I'm going to build some spare parts. Some more spare parts. We definitely need them because we need to fix up the cars. Only 3, as per usual. Come on, thank you. From testing, now we get 10 more setup points plus a bit more in the research, but that's not important right now. Now I try to fix Alesi's car as much as possible, which is going to be completely fixed. Then I try to fix Mazzaccane's car as much as possible. 18, that's not ideal, but it'll have to do. Now that you have those points, I put another on Alesi. Put 6 on Mazzacane. I put a hit point, another hit point here, and 1 point in grip. We definitely need those grip points. We definitely need performance. In fact, no hit. We shouldn't have issues with reliability in this race anyway. Yeah, that should do. I'm not gonna be able to push the engine a ton, but it's not a big deal. The best engine we have a good performing cooling system, doesn't matter. We're gonna put the soft tires on. Confirm. I don't think we can... No, not really. Let's see, can I possibly get level 4 effort? No, I can't. Just 3. And let's see. Okay, I already dealt with this. No, I haven't. Why I have not dealt with this? Hire more trainees. I mean, I said I was going to deal with this later. I did not expect that I will not be dealing with this at all. Hire every trainee. Let's fill everything with trainees. We need them. Especially here. Oh, we're full. That's unexpected. Okay, drop 1 from here. Drop 1 from here and... there. Then drop 1 from here, then drop 1 from here. We level up people so we can get more work done. That might not be good for the morale. We're gonna lose those 2 stars, but need to improve the engineering department. Anyway, Yeah, we cannot sign the fan club deal just yet. Both of you have soft tires on? Yes. For orders, I will have to figure it out mid-event. I'm pretty sure I will be able to run 6 and I think 8. Everything else, except for braking, goes right the hell up. Because this race is so short, just 45 laps, that there's not much wear of any component. That should be good. We're good to go. We're good to go for the German Grand Prix. All right. We have a low wind speed session. Dry, 28 degrees. That's not great, but we'll deal with it. Yeah, I'll inform you about our strategy when we get to the strategy section. Just know that we need soft tires for this. And yeah, that should be good enough. So see you after qualifying. The usual suspects in the front two slots, the Michael and Barrichello. I'm pretty sure Germany is very happy with that result. Then we got David Coulthard, which, again, he's not allowed to win this championship after he killed Gaston Mazzacane in Canada. I will not let that happen. The Williams guys, then Kimi Raikkonen in 6th, which is an amazing lap time for a Sauber that, you know, the other Sauber guy is all the way down here. The same can be said for Coulthard, who put the car on 3rd, despite Hakkinen being all the way down here in 13th, which is amazing. Also, Villeneuve put an amazing lap that put him 7th ahead of us, which the position could be better if Raikkonen and Villeneuve had performed where they should have, that is a bit lower. We could be 6th and 7th, but 8th and 9th, we can work with that. We can most certainly work with that. Average wind speed, that's good. Very dry, great. Okay, we have the softs, we have the proper engine. So, strategy. What kind of strategy are we running in this Grand Prix? Well, it's pretty simple. A one-stop strategy. Yes, a one-stop strategy on the soft tires. You might not believe that. Well, if you know this game, you might think, yeah, that's the obvious strategy. Why making a big deal out of it? For those that do not know this game, you might be, but the softs are dying quickly and your car has issues in high-speed tracks. Why are you using a one-stop? Because the softs can make it. You see, this race is only 45 laps long. If the race is very short, like this one, or Spa, then you can run a one-stop on the softs. You could even do it in Japan, which is 53 laps long. You could just barely do it if you're careful about it. That's why I dumped so many points into tarmac, so that we could protect the soft tires, so we could make it to the end of the race. I hope to be able to do a one-stop, because if we do, let me put it in this example. Kimi is ahead of us on these hours. If the Ferraris, everyone else goes two-stop, and Kimi goes one-stop, Kimi is a serious contender for the win. A Sauber. So yeah, the one-stop is very powerful, and if an AI does it, they will be tough to beat, even if we run a one-stop ourselves. I hope these guys can save the tires enough to be able to do the one-stop. Mostly a Lacy, he's our main guy, and I hope he can save those tires. Preparation is done. Let's get in there, see what we can do. First of all, save, because won't do that again. Put a 4 and jack up the braking. Put a 4, jack up the braking. Can we get something decent, please? Mazzacane jumped a Lacy. That's not ideal. But we'll work with that. Okay, a Lacy. Mazzacane just dropped. That's not great. Can we get a pass in these conditions? Can we get a move? Yes, we got a move. We are 6th. Let's drop these. Mazzacane is 8th. That's solid. He got cooked. Yeah. Not great. Let's drop that again. Let's actually keep that up. He's 6th. Okay, Alesi is in the points. Mazzacane is passing people, which is good. Let me check this up again. Mazzacane, he's lost. He's lost the plot. He's all the way back there. Maybe Alesi can get another move right here. If he can, that's good. Yeah, I know you're in traffic. He's 5th. That's alright. That's very much alright. Mazzacane gonna move on. Good. Alesi, he's 5th. He's gonna hold on 5th. Let's drop that. Mazzacane is 17th. Let's drop that. And this is gonna be our race. Gonna check this up to 8 again. Now the objective is simple. Hold on for as long as possible, and to do that, we do this. We won't be able to defend very well, but I'm gonna put up the block in order. We won't be able to defend that well, but we need to hold onto as many positions as possible so we can jump on these guys later. And that later will be when the pit stops happen. I will come back to you when the pit stops happen. See you then. Welcome to the half race report. Alesi completed his pit stop a while ago. It was clean, which is a miracle. Mazzacane had a slower pit stop, which, you know, it happens. It wasn't as clean, he didn't lose that much time, but still, hey, we are in good position right here, right now. We are 6th and 10th. All the way over here is Barrichello, who is on a 1-stop. Like I told you, it is quite overpowered, the 1-stop compared to the 2-stop, although Barrichello still has to stop. He has taken care of his tires. Mazzacane only lost 2 seconds. Barrichello has taken care of his tires like you have no idea. And I need Mazzacane to do the same to his tires, and Alesi to do the same to his tires. There goes Barrichello. I need both of them to take care of their softs so we can make it to the end without the need of another pit stop. Barrichello is gonna come out with the lead, I think. Yeah, there he goes. He should win this race, assuming he doesn't DNF. If he does DNF, or if he gets banned for, I don't know, some illegal driver rate, then sad hours. But as things stand, Alesi is in position to secure a 3rd place finish, which is a dream. But all that depends on him protecting his softs and not running out of fuel. Barrichello is also in position to win another race and get away from Michael in the championship, which means, you know, Rubens Barrichello could win the championship. He could win the 2001 championship, which will be amazing. Mazzacane, well, Alesi's down here. He's not in position to get points. He will jump these guys, Kimi, I think that's Frentzen and Hakkinen, but nothing more. That's everything he'd get. He'd get right here where Alesi is, and Alesi will jump all the way here, which, I mean, had he not screwed up on the opening lap, maybe he gets a better result. Anyway, I see you at the end of the race. Hopefully no one screws up, everyone protects their tires, and we make it to the end without problem. See you then. Ladies and gentlemen, Rubens Barrichello enters his final lap. As it happens, Ralf Schumacher was also on a 1-stop strategy. John Alesi is 3rd on track right now. Right behind him is Michael Schumacher. He has not been able to get through. Then behind in 5th is Gaston Mazzacane in clean air alone, thanks to the fact that David Coulthard and Juan Montoya took themselves out. They were chasing him. They couldn't get him. Boys, girls, we might have done it again. We just need to survive a few more corners, one more overtaking spot. We've done it again. John Alesi is going to be on another podium. I know, Rubens made it back-to-back in Germany, but John Alesi for Prost Grand Prix prevents Oh yeah, poor Mazzacane, he wore out his tires right on cue. John Alesi prevents Michael Schumacher from being on the podium and gets it himself for Prost Grand Prix. And unlike the Spanish Grand Prix one, which was filled with pure luck, this one was on merit and pace. We did a good job. It could have been second if Ralph was, pitting too. And had he pit, he would have been behind Mazzacane. So who knows? Maybe it could have been Alesi second, Schumacher third, and then Mazzacane fourth. This was a great race. Barrichello gets away in the championship. Michael is still second. Coulthard took himself out in thanks to that now Ralf Schumacher is ahead of him. Mazzacane scored his first points. Now he's tied with Villeneuve and Trulli. Then we got Alesi all the way in 7th with 14 points. He's trying to chase down Montoya. It won't happen, but hey. Will be awesome. We are officially ahead of Sauber thanks to all of those points. Great race. Great race. We made a loss. It doesn't matter. It was a great race. They are not exactly happy, but I do not mind. Yes, I know we're testing the stuff you want, but shut up. We scored tons of points. Okay, we got the customer deals for Michelin and Elf. They don't like us though. We got a race advantage. We got better terms with Acer. That's what we wanted to hear. License the Elf video games parameters. Why are we trying? I'm trying. I have to keep people there. Calm down. Like I told you, 3rd place, we're pleased. 5th place, we're pleased. Bad stop. Good result. Told you. It was a good result. Marlboro going to sponsor Jordan. That's interesting. Gaston Mazzacane joins the club. He is among those who score points in Formula 1. Amazing. John is happy. I mean, he got a second. Of course, he wants to do better. Michael led the grid, but he got screwed over because Ferrari gave him a 2-stop. Benetton going to BMW. That's interesting. Flavio doesn't want Reynolds. Elf has pulled out of a deal with Williams at the last minute and has signed with McLaren. Gotta see how those deals are shaking up. Both its cars finished in the top 6. Yes, boy. Prost will get Michelin tires and Elf fuel. Sauber Petrobras. Of course they have no chance. You're Ferrari, you have the best car. One of the cars did stall, happens. The regulations to be used in next year's car. Please, FIA, do not use the same hydraulics from this year to next year. We're not gonna check that in a moment. The Montezemolo manager, come on, man. Come on. Whatever. Okay, let's check those new regs. It's gonna be completely new technology sets for next year. I'm happy with that. Can we get cash out of this? Not yet. Okay, let's check this out. Frankly, we do not have to sign any other deal. Like, we have all of the important deals. We're trying to cheapen this deal by keeping people there, but I have a big brain moment. See those people down here? They don't pay much. They do not pay much. But let me put that so that we only see those that aren't signed. They don't pay much. But if we use this advantage we have right here, we can sign them up pretty quick. So let's take some people from Acer. The deal won't progress as fast. It's not a big concern. It will only be for one or two races. Hugo Boss. Let's put people in Hugo Boss. And when we come back, when they tell us, hey, we want this, and that, we use that advantage and we get that deal signed up pretty quick. The cars are pretty damn worn. How much will it cost to build 2 cars? First, the fact we can build 2 cars is amazing to me, and I'm actually gonna do that. We're actually gonna buy 2 cars. The mechanics are upset, which is expected because I fired a bunch of people. That's sad. The engineers are okay. The design department is actually pretty happy. The commercial department is hyped up. That's great. Okay. Let's sell 5% shares again. 70%. That's gonna be enough. Don't worry. That's going to be more than enough. We build 2 cars. Man, we have built so many cars this year. It's absurd. We still have cash, don't worry. That's actually enough. We need to hurry this up because we're on round 12. If by round 16 we don't have 2 cars, preferably 3, then bad things are gonna happen to us. Let's see, you used car 2, you used car 4, and Saracen used car 1. We have car 3 in R&D, 98% worn. I think it's enough to be used. Yeah, as you can see here, we have an R&D car because it's usable, so we can use it. Put 10% of the people, 10% of your time in research, the rest on setup testing, split it in half, save the game. Because if electricity comes out, then sad things, sad days. We don't need to test too much for this one. Actually, let's just put 150 miles. And since we're not gonna repair those cars, put everyone here. We don't have spares. No, 50-50. 50-50 should be alright. Yeah, I'm gonna do 2 races this episode. It should be fine in terms of time, I hope. We got the research point, we got all of the setup points, which are gonna be needed. I'm gonna do some trickery here. I'm gonna come up to technology. But if I do this, forget it. I'm gonna start researching a driver aid. In this case, not active suspension, traction control. And the reason for that, I'll tell you in a moment. We're going to dump or research. 3 points there, 2 points there, 73% efficiency. That has to be enough. And we send it to build. We're gonna be building those cars in the next episode because we don't have engineering time to do so right now. But the reason for me to build traction control is that first it slightly increases grip. I think it slightly increases grip, increases performance, of course, increases start performance, and very slightly reduces tire wear. And I love when we have less tire wear. It's just beautiful. Car 2 and car 4 are ready. Let's see, nothing was found. Why am I not surprised? Also, my guys are upset, so I need to dedicate more time. No, we can't even get to freaking 4 yet. We still can't find that Ferrari active suspension, and the news have been completely useless because they don't show what everyone has. They haven't shown anything here. I'm checking the news back in case, they have actually shown. Yeah, they have shown that Ferrari has active suspension, but at some point Jordan also had a driver aids debacle, but not sure which one. They didn't show it. Okay, I'm gonna do my testing to make sure we can get the best setup for this race. The best setup is probably going to be something like a ton of tarmac and a ton of heat points, because Hungary, it doesn't really cause that much wear on the cars. Like, we won't, that's the reason why I did a lot of testing. It doesn't add that much wear, but it can damage components mid-race, so we can have a few DNFs. So let me see what I can gather, and I hopefully will be able to find a good setup for this one. See you in a while. So the situation is that due to me not being very bright, I started recording this next section without checking my recording software settings. So I didn't check that my audio for the microphone did not get recorded until, well, I was ready to edit. I didn't check that, so instead of having actual commentary through the video, you're going to have a narrated version of the events, of everything that happened. So the situation is that we're going to Hungary and things aren't looking good. Because as you can see, our hydraulics are very bad, no good at all. And you know, that's kind of terrible. Because we need to finish the race. And in the end, we won't be able to finish this race because of hydraulics. So what I decided instead is simply not participate in the Hungarian Grand Prix. And you're going to ask, what do you mean not participate in the Hungarian Grand Prix? Yeah, you can actually not participate in an event if you so desire. And let me show you how right here. So the way to not participate in a Grand Prix is to give your guys wet weather tires. That's it. That's the whole trick, at least for qualifying. First, you simulate it. I think you can get better results if you actually do it instead of simulating it. But since I'm not going to win this race, I'm just going to simulate it. So you simulate qualifying and then give both of your guys wet weather tires. They'll try to qualify on those tires and their lap times will be slow. Keep in mind that when I say wet weather, I mean wet weather tires in the dry. If it is wet, you put it dries. That's what I actually mean. But the point is, they'll try to qualify in the wets and it won't work. Or at least that was the plan, but as it happens, John Lacey is just too good, and he qualified anyway, as you can see. So instead of not participating in the Hungarian Grand Prix, I have one car in, and Mazzacane, who didn't make the 107% rule, which is exactly what I wanted both guys to do, but you know, we can't get everything. So we got Michael Schumacher pole position, followed by Rubens Barrichello, and then the McLarens, the Williams, the Saubers, the Jordans, and the lone Jaguar of Luciano Berti. Then we got the BARs, and then we got more people down there. Let's see, who is it? I'm actually watching the recording right now. So who else we have? We have Button, Irvine, Bernoldi, and Verstappen both on the arrows, Fisichella on the other Benetton, and then the Minardis. Alesi did not meet the 107% time, but the FIA still let him participate in the race. I don't know why, but this was not what he wanted. So what I did was just give him a lap of fuel, and after the opening lap, in this lap 2, he DNF'd. I skipped the race, and we got the race results, which were Michael winning from Juan Montoya, and then Barrichello rounding out the podium, Panis, Coulthard, and Heidfeld rounding out the remaining points positions. And then we got news. I mean, before we get to the news, let's get to the point standings. In terms of point standings, we have that Barrichello still leads, 76 points to 64. Coulthard and Ralph are tied for third. Ideally, Ralph Schumacher takes third place because, you know, I don't like Coulthard after he took out Mazzacane. Anyway, we also have the Constructors' Championship. We're still trapped in 16. Ferrari already won this, followed by Williams and McLaren. They are fighting for second. And we got the news, of course, Michael won, and he led the grid, and they were both on the podium. Alesi finished the race early. He shouldn't have started the race anyway. Arrows have mobile fuel, I think. Is that a work steel? I'm not sure. Anyway, BAR have a work steel with Bridgestone. That's very, very good for them. Mazzacane wants to talk with his team about, you know, not qualifying, which, never mind that. He's not upset. Ferrari will be buying fuel from Petrobras, so they won't have in their engines and they won't be using Shell fuel, which is interesting. We also have Jaguar with Honda fuel. What am I talking about? Jaguar going to Honda power, so they won't be Ford Works team anymore. What else do we got here? Williams partnership with BMW. They were BMW's works team, but not anymore. Fastest lap by the Michael. The rest of this is just sponsor signings. And of course, I'm the worst manager in Formula 1 because only one of my cars entered and the other one DNF within one lap. That was all planned. Do not worry. So I did some work behind the scenes, and that work behind the scenes meant that we get a better Acer deal. I used one of my the advantage you had on that deal. I still couldn't get the fan club deal, and slowly but surely the annual engine cost on the Asia Tech deal is going down, which is very good. Slowly the traction control is progressing. We got a new engine from Ferrari. Thank you, boys. We're gonna put it to good use in Belgium. And I did some testing because it is important. I did some testing and we got a whole bunch of setup points that we can apply to the cars. In fact, I put a whole bunch of tarmac points, some that we carried over from the Hungary race because we didn't use them, some that I got from this one. I actually got 4 from this one, plus the other 10 that I got from Hungary. I put most of them on a lazy. Well, I actually distributed quite fairly. 5 in tarmac, then 2 in rain for a lazy, plus 1 in speed. And for Mazzacane, it was... how much it was? Where is it in the recording? Okay, there we go. It was 5 of tarmac and 1 of rain. You know, Mazzacane doesn't get that many, the good setup, because a lazy is the most important. Anyway, now we're gonna go back to live commentary. There will be more narrated commentary because I am very bad and I made the mistake again, but never mind about that. Let's talk about that when it happens. Hello, it's me again. Of course, I failed to check the recording settings again after a blackout. Electricity conked out and the settings didn't got saved from the previous session, so now we have to narrate all over again. Anyway, Michael Schumacher pole position from Luciano Berti, of all people, in the Jaguar. I'm guessing he had a glitch lap, which, I mean, is the only thing that will make sense at this point. Who else we got here? The Williams of Schumacher and Montoya, Barrichello, a bit far away from where he should be, then Coulthard, Panis, Raikkonen, Hakkinen and Villeneuve round out the top 10. And then we have Alesi and Mazzacane all the way down in 13th and 15th, which, you know, everyone else improved so much that we don't have an advantage of the soft tires anymore. Anyway, we got rain for this race, and this is the reason why I gave Alesi so many rain points, so that if it actually rained, we could take advantage. And not only that, but this is Belgium. And on this race, you can easily run a one-stop on the softs, assuming you got enough tarmac points, or a car that can do so. I got enough tarmac points despite our car hating us, so it doesn't matter. Even then, it matters even less because the track will be wet and the wet tires dry out slower. Anyway, let's get to the race. Everyone is using a one-stop, at least on our guys, and, well, I hope to have a good result, man. We need a good result. So as per usual, well, not as usual, I saved the game and lowered the driver order acceleration for both guys and then got ready. The start is gonna be very important. I forgot to increase the braking very quick. I'm gonna do that in a moment. And here we go, Alesi 13, Mazzacane 15, there we go, I'm increasing the order now. Alesi jumped 2 places, Mazzacane holds position, very good. Now, MSC gonna jump, now he's gonna be out in the distance. He's the Michael, we're not gonna catch him. At least we shouldn't catch him anyway. Alesi is still pretty good. He's 10th right now, he's 12th right now, I mean. Mazzacane is holding strong, that's better than we usually expect him to do. Tell them to hold position so that they don't lose positions stupidly. Alesi up to 10th again. very, very good. 90 now. You know, he needs to keep climbing. Not all of these guys are good in the wet, so if we can gain positions, that will be good. Mazzacane dropped a spot, it doesn't matter. So Alesi settles on 10th position, that's quite alright, I guess 11. And Mazzacane dropped a few positions, he's now 19th, because... Gaston, what are we going to do with you? Fire you, I suppose. Alesi's 9th. So that's everything he needs to do. He just needs to keep overtaking people. Like I said, Alesi is pretty good in the wet, and I gave him a few rain points, so he's gonna be better than a few drivers, even if they are in far superior cars. So we let him advance, let him do his stuff until he's in clean air, and you know, he can do some lap times. He's fifth right now. He's very prone to improving, and drop the braking. Yeah, that's important. We need to, even if they were very little, we need to save those tires. Time for a cut. Time to advance forward in time to some more important events. Said important event happened to be when the track got fully wet, as in track dryness, very wet, level 1, which means we have to put on the very wet tire. This means Alesi loses a bunch of the positions he made. He was 4th behind Harold Frentzen, but he's on the very wet tire, and everyone else has to pit at some point in time. Mazzacane also pit. He's 20 still. He's gonna gain some positions because he's on the very wet tire. That said, he's very far away from everyone else. Alesi is in traffic, but he should be able to dispose of traffic because in very wet conditions and on the proper tire, it is easy to overtake people that are on the wrong tire. But at least just a little bit easier. Not very easy because you can have guys stuck behind other guys. But anyway, Alesi is starting the march forward. He is going to be, at this point, I think he will be 3rd net because Frentzen's gonna pit eventually. But to know that, we're gonna have to see it in a moment. Again, Michael Schumacher is far away, he's gone, there's no one catching him. But we need to see what happens in the future. There's important stuff that's going to happen in the future. The first big time event was that it stopped raining. Is it the first big time event? Let's call it just a big time event. The next big time event was that it stopped raining, which means that we now have to go and put the intermediate tires. But the pit crew decided to be amazing this weekend, which is very rare, as you know, they usually make mistakes. But in this case they decided, you know what, we're gonna put down some of the best pit stops of all time. And they certainly did so. As you can see, Alesi is 2nd, right in front of Frentzen. Thanks to the fact that Frentzen is on wets, we are on inters. Now we're only behind both Schumachers. I'm doing that so that he doesn't pit for some stupid reason. And now we're waiting for the track to dry out. Anyway, Alesi is behind Ralf Schumacher and Michael Schumacher. He's on the podium, which, you know, a Prost on the podium, it shouldn't be that weird because we got one already, but this thing shouldn't happen. That said, there can be very bad events in the future, like for example, it starts to rain and Michael and Ralph are still on wet weather tires, and what do you know? It started raining yet again. Because of course it will start raining again. For now, we didn't have to pit, we didn't have to go for the wets, but you know, there was that danger that we will have to pit again. Fortunately for us, we had a small advantage in that Ralf Schumacher did pit. He put on some inters, as opposed to Michael, who is staying out in the hopes that it actually gets wet enough to put wet tires. But at the very least, we gained one position because they decided to wait. And Journalist is 2nd. Again, this happened in Spain. This is absurd and I appreciate it. I appreciate absurd stuff when it benefits us. 2nd. And thanks to Michael not hitting, we are getting closer. So at this point, on my head there were thoughts that, you know what, maybe we could win this race. But at the same time, there were thoughts of it's going to get the freaking very wet. We're gonna have to pit again, and the Michael's gonna win, which you know is a Michael. He's supposed to do this kind of stuff. In other news, Rubens Barrichello is out of the points right now. He's not even in points paying position, which is very sad. He definitely needs to score points. And I think the next guy, actually no, at least right now, he's not out of points paying position. Hakkinen is. Rubens is 6th right now, I think it is. Can't quite remember, I don't remember the standings. But Rubens needs to get better. He needs to get some points, especially now. But, you know, that's something that's happening in the back of the grid. In the front of the grid, again, Alesi is the fastest man on track. He's catching the Michael. This is not the stuff that's supposed to happen, and yet it is happening. And then things got very, very, very bright for us. Because Michael Schumacher pit. Because Ferrari decided that they left him out enough and that he needed to be put on the inters as soon as possible. Which means Jan Alesi cycled out in the lead with about 10 laps to go. Not only that, but Ralf Schumacher pit again. So he's now not a threat. Jan Alesi is leading. Let me correct myself. Chad Alesi is leading this race with 10 laps to go. Michael can close up that gap? Of course he can close up that gap. He's Michael Schumacher. He's the he's the best driver in Formula 1. He's also the fastest. And it went overcast. And then it went overcast, which means we could put the dry weather tires at any point. Which I started debating it whenever it will be better for us. On one hand, the Michael is great in the wet. You know, he's Michael Schumacher. Of course he's gonna be the best in the wet. But we're doing pretty solid in the wet as we speak. But if we go to dry, then the massive advantage of the Ferrari is going to show, while the terribleness of the Prost will show up yet again. So in the end, I hope and pray that it will not dry out, that it will stay completely wet to the end of the race, that it will not dry out. Oh good, I opened the standings for a moment, so I'm gonna show you an image right here. Image right around here. Again, Alesi leads from the Michael, from Ralf, Frentzen, Coulthard, Panis, Hakkinen, and Barrichello. Barrichello is not in the points. He needs to get better. And more important for us, it needs to stay. English is hard. It needs to stay dry. Dry. It needs to stay wet, so we don't have to pit, so that the Ferrari doesn't flex on us. But of course, we're back markers. We don't get the advantage of choosing the weather. No one does really. So we had to pit. It got dry. However, 4 laps to go. 4 laps to go. So I decided to bring in Alesi, and this was a gamble. Because, oh yeah, we put him on the dries and stuff, he's gonna be second. I also bring Mazzacani. He's gonna be second. If the Michael stays out, I think he wins the race. Because the Ferrari is much, much better. Michael Schumacher is just much, much better than Alesi. But still, if there was any way we were going to catch him, it was with the dry weather tires. So I went in, put on dries. The guys made the first mistake of the weekend. Then we got pit stop glitch thanks to Jenson Button. So Michael was a full camel straight ahead of us by the time Alesi came out of the pits. Of course, we disposed of Jenson pretty quickly. We're still second because Ralf made a bad series of live decisions that put him in third and far away from the top 2. So we were catching the Michael. Jan Alesi was flying. He was very, very good. Again, in the middle of the grid, Rubens was still 8th. He had no way to catch Hakkinen. Remember, Hakkinen is not as good this season. There goes Frentzen in. Hakkinen is not as good that season. And now we put Barrichello a lap down as a Prost. Yeah, that happens. And then Michael Schumacher came in. Not only did he came in, he put a pit stop glitch on freaking everyone else that pitted. Look at that. Look at that. And so the Michael was behind us and there were just 2 laps to go. Can he make up that gap? Well, it's gigantic, and I was afraid that because he's a man that can, he's the man that made impossible possible. But can he actually do it? As time went on, I started asking, can he actually do it? And in the end, like, there's always a possibility of a mechanical failure, so I shouldn't be celebrating. Maybe we get an engine failure on the final lap and, our hearts are broken. Except Genelesi had no mechanical issues as he crossed the line, and that's the only way to get a mechanical failure. Alesi had no car problems, he had the lead. He only needed to complete a few more laps without running into a back marker. I mean that literally, he can run to a back marker and ruin everything. The Michael was not getting him. Alesi was literally the fastest man on track on the dries, thanks to, I suppose, the advantage of the soft tires. Or maybe everyone else overfueled their cars far more than I expected. But ladies and gentlemen, the most unexpected victory since France 1990 was ruined by a Frenchman. Chad Alesi wins the 2001 Belgian Grand Prix. Like I told you, Michael Schumacher was not the fastest man on track, it was John Alesi. John Alesi. His first win since Canada 1995, also from Michael. That one had very interesting circumstances, like people running onto the track and Alesi nearly ran out of fuel, but this one was a combination of luck and pace that Alesi usually doesn't have. Maybe he has the pace, but he doesn't have the luck. This time it all came together. He was very good in the wet, he was decent, and he was everything that we need in the dry, and he got it done. Thank you, John, for making this possible. Now let's move on to one of the best videos that this game can offer. John Alesi wins the Belgian Grand Prix from Michael Schumacher and Ralf Schumacher. We had shown some flashes since that Spanish Grand Prix that we could do something special in the wet. Now that potential got realized, Alesi won this race, and I'm very, very happy for him. Mazzacane was 9th, so, he's not that good in the wet. What can you do? As for the other points positions, we got Frentzen, Häkkinen, and Coulthard, both McLarens. In the points, Panis, then Barrichello. Barrichello did not finish in the points. That is big for the championship. Why? Because now Michael Schumacher is 6 points away from Rubens Barrichello. Then we got Ralf Schumacher taking 3rd place from Coulthard. Very good, Ralf. Alesi is now 6th, ahead of Häkkinen, and I love that. Doubt he's gonna finish there because, now that I think of it, the next races, especially Europe and Japan, are in very wet situations. It rains there like in every single race. So finishing in 6th or even 5th, it's not impossible for John. He can actually do it. So we just need rain. We just need more rain. That's everything we need. We just need a bit more rain. As for the constructor standings, we probably locked up the 4th place in the championship ahead of Sauber, Jordan, and BAR. McLaren's way too far away. They're fighting for 2nd. Ferrari's just so freaking far away for us to do anything. Well, that will be it in this episode. There are some news and some emails we gotta check, but I'm gonna do that with live commentary in the next episode. That was a plane that just passed by. It happens. But you know what? I'm pretty happy. Here's Chad Alesi again to celebrate this win. I hope you enjoyed this particular episode, even if it didn't go according to plan because I had to narrate most of it. But you know what? I'm pretty happy. I see you in the next one where we tackle, hopefully, well, ideally I tackle 3 races and we finish the season with 3 races, but I'll have to make every race pretty short. It'll probably be just 2 races. I'll think about it. I see you in the next episode. I hope you really enjoyed it.